hot, hot, hot. Feeling hot, hot, hot.
He is risen. He is risen indeed. Fireside Chat, Easter Sunday. Glad you're with us. Well, we can finally say so long to extreme Lent. Lent is over, but some of the contraction and isolation remains for a bit longer. You know, in the wake of our extreme Lent, it can be so easy to get caught up in all the things that we've lost. Precious lives, jobs, businesses, worship, social gatherings, school, sports. We've lost a lot. But as we transition from Lent into Easter, we leave behind the themes of darkness and death and into themes of light and hope and life. So in the light of this Easter season, can we begin to consider maybe all of the things that we have gained during this time of crisis? Families have become more strengthened, more dinners together, more games, more talking. We've gained in our time, maybe even a mandatory Sabbath for rest and spiritual reflection. We've gained in clarity on our priorities, the things that are the most important. And we've also realized all of the frivolous things before the crisis that we thought were so important seem not so important right now. We've gained in our world connectedness, our sense that we are all connected. We are all more similar than we are different. We're all concerned about the coronavirus and trying to stay safe. We're all worried about the future. We have a sense of being connected to each other across the planet. And we've also gained in our thankfulness, our realization of all of the things that we took for granted that we now feel so much gratitude about. I was watching a baseball game on television the other day, an old game, and I felt myself as I was watching the game feeling jealous of the fans in the stands that got to go out and got to go to a game and watch the players who are not social distancing. We are reminded of how blessed we are, how thankful we should be for what we have. This is a great time to focus our mind again on gratitude. We've lost a lot, but we've gained a lot as well. It's all a matter of your perspective. How do you see things? In the movie True Grit, 14-year-old Maddie Ross is going to the cotton trader to do some trading with him. He feels like she's gotten the better of him, and he's sort of upset about the deal that he made. She says, "You're looking at it with the wrong perspective." Here's the clip.
You have not traded poorly.
Oh, certainly not. I'm paying you for a horse I do not possess, and have bought back a string of useless ponies, which I cannot sell again.
You're forgetting the gray horse.
Crowbait.
You were looking at the thing in the wrong light.
I am looking at it in the light of God's eternal truth.
What is your perspective? Are you stuck lamenting all of the things that we have lost? Or are you able to also rejoice in all that we have gained during this time of crisis? Are you able to see things in the light of God's eternal truth? Do you remember the great race in the Bible? I grew up in Southern California, where we have Santa Anita horse racing track. Their slogan is the great race place. Well, I beg to differ. I think the great race place is found in John's Gospel, chapter 20. I want to share with you a few words. Verse 1. Early on the first day of the week, while it was still dark, Mary Magdalene went to the tomb and saw that the stone had been removed from the entrance. So she came running to Simon Peter and the other disciple, the one Jesus loved, and said, "They have taken the Lord out of the tomb, and we don't know where they have put him." So Peter and the other disciple started for the tomb. Both were running, but the other disciple outran Peter and reached the tomb first. They are sprinting, running. They're concerned. They think someone has stolen the body. They're not thinking resurrection. That's not the first assumption. They're thinking someone has stolen the body. Luke goes on to describe this scene in chapter 24, verse 4, to the women. While they were wondering about this, suddenly 2 men in clothes that gleamed like lightning stood beside them. In their fright, the women bowed down with their faces to the ground. But the men said to them, "Why do you look for the living among the dead? He is not here. He has risen." The women listened to the voices of these angels, these theophanies gleaming in white. They listened to the voices, and they reported the good news that they had heard. What voices will we listen to this Easter season? I heard some Christians saying that this just isn't going to be Easter. Easter should be church worship and big music and the word preached and read and fellowship time and Easter egg hunts. This just won't be Easter this year. I heard those comments and I have to admit I felt a little depressed about it. Then I heard the comments of the angry ones, the hate-filled ones who were rejoicing that all of those Christians couldn't go to their churches this year and worship their fairy tales and their lies. When I heard those voices, I felt a little bit angry too, but mostly sad. Then there are voices of those who want to criminalize worship. In Louisville, Kentucky, they're ordering no drive-up churches, even though no one is getting out of their cars and the windows are rolled up. License plates are being photographed and people are showing up at their homes, giving them tickets and an order for a 14-day quarantine. In Mississippi, $500 fines are being issued to drive-up churches, again, even though no one leaves their car and the windows are up. Can you imagine? People can drive up to order alcohol, but they can't drive up for worship. These are voices of Easter Grinches. Remember the Grinch who stole Christmas? These Grinches want to steal Easter. The voices of these Grinches are the ones giving tickets to worshipers who are in their cars. The ones who delight that the churches are closed this year. The ones who feel like this just isn't Easter. Do we listen to these voices? Or do we listen to the voice at the tomb that says, "Why do you look for the living among the dead? He is risen." In the original story, Christmas came. It came just the same. Christmas Day is in our grasp as long as we have hands to clasp. And Easter came. It came just the same. Easter came again. No matter what they do, we win. The Easter Grinch says, "They'll all cry boo-hoo." But the voice at the tomb says, "Why do you look for the living among the dead? He is risen." Amen. I want to conclude this fireside chat with a few special photos. A couple of years ago, Bobby Cowan found a rock that looked a lot like an empty tomb with the stone rolled away. So she took that rock and turned it into a kind of terrarium. Once again, the wheatgrass was planted, and from the seeds buried in the dirt, as if they were dead, new life sprang up. And it grew and grew so that our traditional display would be ready. And it is wonderful. Thanks, Bobby. Have a great week. The first week in our Easter season. He is risen. He is risen indeed.
Feeling hot, hot, hot.